worldwide. And I'm going to talk a little bit of boxing. All right, y'all know what happened on the weekend, so let me get into it in a minute. But you know this, you ain't in a rush to get concussed. Y'all know the deal. Now, let's take it to Moscow, right? Take it to Moscow, just like I told you. That's how I'm going to start. I told you it was going to be a good fight. Murad GASSIEV wins a unanimous decision against Denis Lebedev, right? Close fight, depends on what you like, but it was a good fight. Just like I told you. Knew it was going to be. Hey, Moscow, they putting them out. In 2 weeks, something else going to pop off there, but we'll talk about that at another time. Now, for the fight itself, after watching it, I had it either way. I had Lebedev winning with 1 round, but it was close. I understand that depending on what you like. To give a basketball analogy, you like dunks, right? So one guy was dunking, the other guy was making layups, but a lot of them. Some games you watch a basketball game, somebody dunked on somebody, boom, dunked again, but they still losing by 10 points. That's how I was seeing this. It was a lot of rounds that I gave even. So it was just a good fight. When it gets like that, it's a good fight. I think both guys can argue their case. I haven't watched any post-fight interviews or anything like that, just so I can give a real analogy of what I saw. It was just a close fight. Simple as that. Both guys were doing that. I think after the third or fourth round, GASSIEV started trying to walk him down. But, it was walking in the shots. It was a lot of short punches from Lebedev that, maybe just don't catch the eye. They were catching mine. So those were I'm talking about, those layups, right? So a good fight, down the road, they will be able to meet again because here's the stuff where you get from a casual fan that's starting to become an insider. It's a little bit complicated, but, before this fight, Lebedev's team asked for an exemption from the WBA. So even if he lost this fight, he can still have one of the titles, the WBA title, which is the case. So he's still a champion, if that's what you want to call it. So that's where it gets a little complicated. But so they can meet down the road. But at the end of the day, the cruiserweight division is going down because if you put Alexei Usyk, this Ukrainian guy, you put him in the mix right now. Stuff is really hot in the cruiserweight division. So, like I say, good fight, best fight of the weekend. And some other stuff went down on the weekend, like Kubrat Pulev versus Samuel Peter. Yeah, whatever. That's how probably what I have to say about that. Exactly what went down. A fourth round stoppage. Peter came in at 271 pounds, so I wasn't really taking this fight too seriously. I did compare it to Vladimir Klitschko versus Ross Purity in the Ukraine. That was the little hope, the little 10% of hope you have of having a competitive fight. Didn't happen. Kubrat did his thing. I'm not getting no props because why did you take that fight when you have the Anthony Joshua fight dingling right in front of your eyes? So I don't really know how to view that and what his plan is. Man's 35 years old. You need to be starting to handle your business on a serious tip now. You know what I mean? So then you move down over here to Scotland and you had to fight with Billy Joe Sanders versus Akavov, right? Let me make sure I got my man's name right. Doing that Akavov, right? Who's another underdog who I haven't watched the fight yet, but word has it, all the reports that the man was robbed, which is probably the case. If you're not with the house fighter, this can happen. Billy Joe Sanders admitted himself after the fight it was a terrible effort. He doesn't think it was a world-class effort. Usually fighters say that when they know they were, basically probably lost that fight. I'll probably say more on that fight probably in a We Feel With You segment with Akavov because he's probably got robbed being a house fighter. Let's make something clear to fans that don't know this. The promoter pays everybody, right? Including the judges. So as long as this is going down, there's going to be some injustices because you're not going to judge no fight against the dude who's paying you. It's very hard to do. He has to be very, very, seriously dominated for you to do that because you want that check next time. You want him to call you back, don't you? So when those kind of things are still in boxing, then there's probably going to be a lot of this going on. They have to figure some way out to regulate that. Like, okay, promoters, you can do whatever you want to do, but you're not paying the judges. We got to find someone else to pay those judges separately so we can get some real stuff going on. When the house fighter is in anything of a close fight, he's getting it, period. All right? The powers that be, make sure of it. So Billy Joe Sanders, whatever, no props here. You won't be getting a good win or whatever. But at the end of the day, what's going to happen? People forget about it in 2 or 3 days, and he can start calling out Gennady Golovkin again, which I think he shouldn't. From my point of view, maybe he should just go ahead and handle that domestic dust up with Chris Eubank Jr. That'll be lucrative and it'll be something right now. But you shouldn't be calling out Golovkin right now after that kind of effort. But wait till I see it with my own eyes. I'll probably give a few more comments on that. So that was the weekend in boxing. I know it's a few other fights that went down. Sorry I didn't mention you, but those are the main ones that went down. Best fight, just like I said, all eyes on Moscow. That's what the deal was, basically. That was where the good fight was. That's where the action was. That's where the significance was. All right? Dome Sports Talk, worldwide, and I'm up out of here.